Hello, my name is José Manuel Amigo, and I'm gonna show you how to use the new version of HyperTools. It's version HyperTools number 3. So the first thing you have to do, or you probably have done it, is to go to the website. That is this one. It will change completely in soon, and download HyperTools, but the version number 3. Okay. Once you have downloaded it, go to your Matlab, and here we have the folder that you will download. This folder contains several subfolders with all the functions and everything you need to run HyperTools on your computers. Then the first action we have to do is to include this folder and the subfolders inside the Matlab path. There are two ways of doing that. The first one is to click with the right button of your mouse and say add to path, select folders and subfolders. Or the second way, that is the one I prefer, is at home, set path, add with subfolders. And in this case, this is the version, the one I have downloaded, HyperTools version 3. Select folder, and immediately here you will have all folders with the subfolders you have in the main folder. Save and close. Okay, that's the first step in order to have HyperTools running in your Matlabs. The second action, obviously, is to run HyperTools. In this case, we have to write HyperTools number 3. And the main screen of HyperTools appears. And as you can see here, this warning appears that says that your workspace might be empty. We have to check our workspace in Matlab because probably it's empty in order to use HyperTools. But before doing that, just to say that here we have the exploration button. Here we have the regression and classification. As you can see in this version, regression and classification is outside exploration. And there is a big reason for that, is that we normally, when we develop regression and classification models, we start from our matrices X and Y. I will explain you in other videos how to do it. Then we have view models, analyze models, and the web tutorials info that will link directly to the website of HyperTools in order to check the list of videos we have in our YouTube channel. Okay, so saying that, our alarm, or this word, the first warning we had here is that we don't have anything in our workspace. So just let me close HyperTools and let's check our workspace. You can see it's empty. Okay, HyperTools will work with analyzing as many hyperspectral images as you need. There is not only one. You can analyze many hyperspectral images at the same time. Is what we call a multi-image analysis. There will be a video explaining how to do that multi-image analysis. It's actually working the same way. But in this case, our hyperspectral image, it must be always oriented in the following way. Okay, imagine that this is our sample. The first dimension will be always the number of rows of my hypercube, X. The second dimension will always be the number of columns of my hypercube, Y. And the third dimension will always be the wavelengths of my hypercube. There is the need also of a wavelength vector that can have dimensions 1 times the number of wavelengths. In this case, it's a row vector, or it can be a column vector. It's indifferent. Okay. Obviously, the sample is mandatory, and the wavelength vector, maybe sometimes in some occasions we don't have it. So it is not mandatory, but it's strongly advisable to have it. Okay. So saying that, I will directly open here in my workspace one of the images that you probably know and you can download from our website. That is the image plastics. Okay. In here, the sample, it has 203 rows, 117 columns, and 142 wavelengths. This is the wavelength vector, and these matrices, we will use them for classification and or regression afterwards, okay? Just to have a glimpse of what is this image about, let's open it in HyperTools. So I recall HyperTools, right? Okay. In this case, we don't have a warning because we have a hypercube in our workspace, and let's open exploration in here. Okay. In this list here in the left, it will appear all the hyperspectral images that we have currently in our workspace, because as I told you, we can analyze many at the same time. Okay, in this case, we only have one that is called sample. So what we have to do is to put it from the left to the right of this list. And immediately what we obtain here, let me just move this here in the top. What we have here, I didn't say it, but it's advisable just to enlarge HyperTools to the maximum of your screen to have the best experience, okay? In here, we have a composite image, is what we call a false RGB image, okay? In which we see 4 clusters of plastics. These are just pure plastics. And here we have the selection of the 20 most representative spectra of this hypercube, okay? This screen is merely informative, okay? And there is no analytical procedure to be done in here. Even though that, we can see that there is some information in here. Let's just load the wavelength vector. Is this one, WV good. So this vector or this wavelength range goes from 950 something up